The percent circle. The percent circle is a memory aid to help you remember the 3 steps in solving percent problems. There are 3 basic kinds of percent problems. The first, to find what part the percent is of the total. For example, what is 20% of 500? The second is to find what percent a part is of the total. For example, what percent is 25 of 100? And the third, to find what the total is when the part and the percent are given. For example, if 25% of the cost was $75, what is the total cost? Using the percent circle will greatly help you solve percent problems. Let's look at our percent circle. This here is a division bar. P stands for part. The percent symbol stands for the percent. T stands for the total amount. This line here is your division bar. This line here is for multiplication. This percent circle needs to be memorized. It will greatly aid you in solving percent problems. Let's look at our first example to show you how. What is 20% of 500? I need to decide where these numbers would go in my percent circle. The first thing I always look for is the number with the percent symbol. The number with the percent symbol is always the percent. So I'm going to put 20% in my percent circle there. The number after the word of is always my total amount. Of 500 means my total is 500. I am missing the part. If I were to cover this part up, that tells me I need to multiply percent times total. So I need to multiply 20% times 500. I will go to my calculator, make sure it's cleared, and hit my 500 times 20%. And I find out that the answer is 100. So that tells me that 100 is 20% of 500. Let's look at our next example. What percent is 25 of 100? I said before, the first number I always look for is the number with the percent symbol. And in this problem, there isn't one. That tells me that that's the part that's missing already. The number after the word of is always my total. So my 100 goes there. That only leaves one spot for the 25. And 25 is part of 100, so the 25 is up there in the percent circle. When I look at my percent circle, if I hide the percent, I have to do part divided by total. So in this problem, I have to do 25 divided by 100. And I want my answer to be a percent. So when I use my calculator, 25 divided by 100, and I hit percent, I get 25%. So my answer here is 25%. Looking at our last example, if 25% of the cost is $75, what is the total cost? First, I'm going to look for the number with the percent symbol, and I see a 25%. So I'm going to put that right in the circle. I'm looking for a number directly after the word of. I don't find it. But I do have the part. I know the total's missing in this problem because it asks, what is the total cost? That's another clue. So if I hide the total, I know I have to divide the part divided by the percent. So in this problem, I need to do 75 divided by 25%. Using my calculator, 75 divided by 25%, I get $300 as my total cost. So remember, Memorizing the percent circle will greatly help you solve any of the 3 types of percent problems that you are ever presented with.
This is Gerard Royer, and he works for NASA, and he's going to tell us a little bit about this transportation habitat.
Yes, this is a TransHab. It was originally designed for the going to Mars, and we were looking at using it for going to possibly using the space station. If you use it on going to the space station, you get 4 to 5 times the volume for similar weight and about the same cost, and once again 5 times the volume. The idea here is you have a 11-foot diameter core with an inflatable around it. So you pack this inflatable up and you put it inside the core of the shuttle, a 15-foot diameter core, and you inflate it. Once you inflate it, here's your core here, here's your inflatable shown right here. Then your people will be able to get in there and live, they'll be able to work, exercise. It's basically a habitation module for use on going to Mars and or possibly using the space station.
Gerard, if this Kevlar webbing is 20 feet, you did some experiments with it and you found that it stretched how much?
It stretched 4%.
Let's look at this TransHab that was at NASA. If the Kevlar stretched 4% when inflated for this TransHab, and it was originally 20 feet, what is the size of the inflated TransHab? Again, I'm not asking how much did it stretch, but what is the size of the inflated TransHab? And that's again why it's important to really read the problem carefully and think of a process to get at the right answer. So what we have then, we have the percentage. It stretched 4%, and the size is 20 feet. So it's 20 feet in diameter, that TransHab that's at NASA. So what we have here, what we want to find now is the part. Percentage times the total. So let's go to our calculator. So we want to find the part, so it's 20 times 4%. And so the part equals 0.8 feet. But that's how much it stretched. But we want to ask, what is the size of the inflated TransHab? So what we have to do is we have to add the 8 to the 20 plus 0.8, and so the answer would be 20.8 feet. So the inflated TransHab is now 20.8 feet. And again, I want to stress, think, use your logic when you're working with math problems. Let's look at another problem. If someone at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo bought this special Cub Cadet tractor with a 25 horsepower motor, a hydrostatic Positrack drive, and a 4-wheel drive on demand for $10,707.14, and the list price was $9,995, what was the percent of the sales tax the person paid? Let's do the math. The person paid $10,707.14. That includes the sales tax. The price was $9,995. And we want to find out how much was the sales tax. So what we're going to have to do, first of all, we want to find this percentage. So what is the part? So we're going to have to deduct from $10,707.14 the original price. Let's go to the calculator and do that. Clear it. 10,707.14 minus $9,995 equals. So that would be 712.14. So now that's the part. We have this. We want to find the percentage. So the percentage equals part over the total. And so the part is $712, and the total would be, we divide that by $9,995. So let's divide that then by $9,995, and that will equal, notice that it equals 0.07125. We round that up to 5, and to get the percentage, all we have to do is move the decimal point 2 places to the right, 1, 2, and so that would be 7.125%, and we know that 0.125 equals 7 1/8%. So if you pay $10,707.14 for this tractor, and the list price was $9,995, you paid 7 1/8% sales tax. Now, this sometimes becomes very confusing. For this total, should you put in $10,707.14, or should you put in $9,995? And one thing you could do is make a very simple problem. For instance, say the list price of an item is $10. The sales tax, and you make this up, something very simple, 7%. Now, the price is going to be 7% of $10 is 70 cents. But let's just do it in the calculator, make sure, so you can see it. $10 plus 7% equals $10.70. So now you made yourself a very simple problem. Now say you want to find out what was the sales tax. You don't know this now. They just give you these two figures. Now you want to remember the circle over here, the percentage circle. Now the part would be obviously 70 cents. So what would be divided into 70 to give you 7%? You know the answer. No, you know it wouldn't be $10.70 because that's going to be an odd number. So you know it would have to be the $10. All we have to do then is clear the calculator at 0.7 divided by the $10, and that will equal 0.07. And then to get the percentage, all we do is move 2 places, and then we get 7%. And so you make yourself a simple problem, and by knowing how to do this here, you're able to solve these complicated problems.